Well, great balls of fire, Bubba. What happened, Buford? That crazy son of a Sal blew right through that four-way stop on Main Street and plowed into my cowboy Cadillac.
Your what?
My pickup truck. And I'm pretty sure my leg is broken, Ted.
Oh, quit your bitching, Buford, and talk with those side busters at the Advocates Law Firm. When I got busted up last month, well, shoot, they made sure those snakes at the insurance company played fair.
Boy, howdy. Even that creepy so-and-so Kyle earned his keep.
So if you get injured, the advocates get results. AdvocatesLaw.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
All right, if we manage drinking time.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the men's room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Drink time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink desk and Steve Throwhill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. And you know what? Today we toast a loyal listener of this very radio program. First, it should be noted that last Wednesday, we asked the question, what has been the luckiest or unluckiest moment of your life? And he answered us via email, which I will share. Oh, the bitches, catching up on the podcast. I got very lucky and was called up on stage at your 1000th show party at the Hard Rock Cafe. And he got called up on stage to play Ted versus the FCC.
All right.
I was the last of 4 contestants. The previous 3 losers won a Creed DVD because they lost.
Congratulations.
I, on the other hand, won Iron Maiden tickets because I actually won. Now, I was blacked out at the time and didn't realize it until after the Iron Maiden show that I had won the Iron Maiden tickets at all, so he ends it with very unlucky. But we appreciate the fact you've been listening to the show for as long as you have. So, ladies, gentlemen, please join me and raise the toast to Bob Balls.
Bob Balls.
Bob Balls, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, indeed.
Bob Balls.
Do you vaguely remember meeting him now?
I remember the contest because I thought it was funny that we were giving away Creed DVDs.
I remember his name because I think we gave him a bunch of crap at the 1000 show party when he said my name's Bob Balls. Like, I vaguely remember that.
It's one of the last times I wore the brick shirt.
Was it?
Yeah, I've worn it there, and then I wore it to Burning Man. I don't think I own it anymore.
Oh, man.
The brick shirt was legend, though.
So, Bob Balls, thanks for listening, man. So we pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy!
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies. Down the hola bichola.
The men's room presents Profile This.
And Steve Throwhill, could you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
Sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. Hello, Shannon. Welcome to the men's room.
Hello.
Hola. All right, Shannon, you understand how this here game is played?
I do.
Fantastic. You have your choice of one of 3 stories. The Wonderful World of Drugs. We have Bite Me. In other words, what did someone find in their food? And finally, Interior Decorating, where you guess the foreign object that ended up on the inside of someone.
Let's go with Bite Me.
Just eat it. Get yourself an egg and beat it.
I was waiting for that last line because I like it. All right, Shannon, here is your story. A school teacher in Louisiana has admitted to lacing cupcakes along with her husband. They put a little something in them and then fed them to students. She now faces 41 years in prison. Cynthia Perkins and her now ex-husband, Dennis Perkins, they were both arrested and charged. Now, Cynthia was a teacher at Livingston Parish, while her husband, Dennis, was a Livingston Parish sheriff's deputy at the time of their arrest. Dennis was fired by the department after his initial arrest, and Cynthia resigned from her position as a teacher shortly after her arrest as well. Initially, she pleaded innocence to her various crime charges, but now she reached a plea deal with prosecutors and pleaded guilty to 3 charges. Per her plea agreement, Cynthia reportedly admits that she assisted her husband in lacing the cupcakes with something before feeding them to school children. Now, the question is, what did Cynthia and her husband lace the cupcakes with? LSD, marijuana, semen, or feces? So LSD, weed, semen, or feces?
Wow.
Yeah.
Can I get your guys' opinion on that?
What grade? High school?
You know what? I'm not sure. Hang on. What,
Are they just students?
She was a teacher. It says...
I'm going to say it's not going to be LSD, Shannon.
Yeah.
You know,
I
don't
don't
know.
see it being semen, but let's go with that because that is disgusting.
Well, in what context? You mean in the cupcake? Yes, but in general, no?
Eating a cupcake.
Oh, gotcha. My
And
bad.
serving it to children.
I'm going to
I
go
mean,
feces.
Yeah, other than that, she's fine with the Miles.
Yeah, okay.
But I agree with her. It should not be
Exactly.
inside of cupcakes served to children.
So you're going to go semen, Ted?
It's okay in cupcakes not being fed to children. Just...
Right. If an adult wants a cupcake full of that, I got you covered.
I got semen cakes in the bag.
I'll get it to you.
Yeah.
Semen cakes.
I mean, you know me. If semen's on the board, I'm taking it.
Ted's taking that semen.
And it's, I mean, look, I'm smiling and laughing, but it
It's on
is
the-
because it's so disturbing.
It's on the specialty menu.
Yes.
All right, we're going to find out what they spiked the cupcakes with. Was it LSD, marijuana, semen, or feces next?
That was a tease.
Oh, drat. I was driving along minding my own business when that vulgar leech hit my Beamer with his pickup truck. I fear I've fractured my clavicle.
I say, old boy, don't simply put it in the hands of your insurance company to sort it out. Talk with the dedicated row of solicitors at the Advocates Law Firm.
Pipe down, you old sod. The advocates will see your case through to the bitter end and won't sleep a fortnight until they have victory in their grasp.
Jolly good, old man. Jolly good indeed. You get injured, the advocates get results. AdvocatesLaw.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Category is Bite Me on Profile This. A teacher in Louisiana put something in cupcakes that she made for her students at school. She and her husband made them one night. They both decided to lace the cupcakes with something. So, did they spike the cupcakes with LSD, marijuana, semen, or feces?
And Shannon, that is the very question that we asked you. We'll start with Miles Montgomery. It went feces.
I did.
Good news.
I'm glad I'm wrong.
It is not poop. Shannon, you agree with D. Ted Smith went semen. Now, Ted is a semen apologist. That kind of came out wrong. But in the end,
I am.
If it is one of the options, Ted's just going to take it. You said semen seems so wrong that that's probably the case. Well, as much as I had good news that it was not poop, the bad news is you are correct. It was semen.
Shannon, don't bring this up if I see you on Saturday.
Do. Bring it up.
It'll be very awkward at the game.
And I left a lot of the details of that story out. That is the best thing that this couple did.
They were not good
What
people.
is their...
You don't even want to know.
I don't
Seriously,
know.
when I'm
That's not
editing,
good.
I did not realize, because the headline is that, right? And then as I'm reading through the story, I'm like, that's actually the least offensive thing that this couple did.
Now for all TV news all time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box,
Armageddon.
the men's room presents TV Time with Ted.
All right, your choices today. You know what? You'll have 4 of them, if that helps.
Yeah. Fallon, Kimmel, Seth Meyers, and Ted.
Yeah, that's it.
Is it Ted or is it late
It's
night?
right there at the title. Always guys have teams and challenges writers help them come up with monologues each and every night. It is up to you to determine, is this an actual late night joke and from whom, or could it be a The Ted Smith original?
Later, I'll explain to you how smooth that was, Miles.
Yes.
Starbucks and McDonald's have closed all their stores in Russia, thus ending one of the truly evil attacks ever by the U.S., the Type 2 attack.
The Ted Smith.
Yes.
Yeah. Damn it. proud of that one. I think you get that one.
It is good. I would have guessed someone else if you had said diabetes.
Just because I didn't say diabetes?
Honestly, I just said type 2, and I'm like, that's Ted.
Because you know the difference.
Right? So if you're hosting a national, you
That's
say
it, everybody?
diabetes.
You'd
You'd be shocked. So, yeah. So they would just say diabetes, no one questions.
One you earn, one you just got.
Right.
You know, but try this again, for a different environment. Starbucks and McDonald's have closed all their stores in Russia. That's ending one of the truly evil attacks ever by the U.S., the sugar attack.
Yeah.
It's the sugars.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Gas prices are already on the rise. And the decision to ban Russian oil, they are higher than ever before. Gas prices are so high that the Indy 500 has changed to the Indy 5.
Foul.
Yeah, foul.
That's foul.
Gas prices were already on the rise, and with the decision to ban Russian oil, they're higher than ever before. Gas prices are so high, the Indy 500 was just changed to the Indy 5.
The CDC director said in a recent interview that the coronavirus will probably be a seasonal flu. Okay. But is it going to be a regular season or like seasons of The Voice? Because they have like 9 seasons a year.
Foul.
Myers.
That is Seth.
CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky said in a recent interview that the coronavirus will probably be a seasonal flu. Okay, but is it going to be regular seasons or like seasons of The Voice? Because they have like 9 seasons a year.
Man, I haven't seen Seth in weeks.
Going to bed early?
Yeah, well, I usually put on the sleep timer, and I usually catch some Seth, but I don't know. I feel like I've been falling asleep right at the musical act of the previous show. The makers of Mountain Dew recently announced that its new so-called legend flavor, which appears pitch black and tastes like blueberry, citrus, and ginger, as opposed to the regular Mountain Dew that looks yellow and tastes like yellow.
Myers. Foul.
Seth Myers.
The makers of Mountain Dew recently announced its new so-called legend flavor, which appears pitch black and tastes like blackberry, citrus, and ginger, as opposed to regular Mountain Dew, which is yellow and tastes like yellow.
Again, Mountain Dew invented to chase original Mountain Dew, which was moonshine.
Correct. Yep.
McDonald's has announced that all 850 restaurants in Russia... McDonald's has announced it will be closing all 850 restaurants in Russia. We don't want their oil, and they can't have our grease.
That sounds like Kimmel.
Yeah, Kimmel.
Fallon.
Meanwhile, in another blow to their economy, today McDonald's announced that it was closing all 850 of its restaurants in Russia. Yeah, we don't want their oil, and they can't have our grease.
I asked the thought earlier about saying that McDonald's announced it's closing all its restaurants in Russia, thus ending production of sour sauce. You don't think of Russians like sweet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sour and sour sauce.
Yeah. Make it extra sour.
I just saw the Adidas company pulled out.
Now, is that real or is that a meme?
I'm not sure, but it was funny.
All right.
Oh, about the tracksuits, right? Yeah.
That meme's been going around if you really want it, because it's the stereotype that Russians only wear.
Dude, I met a Russian dude in Hawaii, right? And I wanted to smoke, so I went down to the beach. There's this little bench. And he got, do you mind if I join you? I'm like, nah, man. Big dude. And Russian guy, and we're just talking about, this is obviously a different time, just talking about the countries, but he was wearing an Adidas tracksuit. And I just remember thinking, like, of course you're a Russian dude. You're wearing an Adidas tracksuit. It's like 85 degrees outside.
Yeah.
But I would not dare tell him.
Well, outside, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, I feel like velour is exclusively to, like, mostly Italians.
Yeah, velour is huge.
Yeah. I'm not Italian. I got a velour sweatsuit. Let's see. So everybody has some TV shows they loved, and then they go off the air. But now everybody's got podcasts and this and that. So I have a list of some TV shows that are living on in podcast 4.
Okay.
One that didn't make the list that I think should be on there is Reaper Reviews, which is a couple guys that were on Sons of Anarchy. And they get together. I think it's Kim Coates, Cotes. I never remember if he says it Coates or Coates.
I don't know.
I'll probably make it fancier than it is. But, yeah, him and, I want to say Theo Rossi. Theo Rossi? Yeah. They have a show. They have a show where they just talk about old episodes of Sons of Anarchy, and they get into who do we talk? Oh, Bruce Dickinson. He said he started watching Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah.
This isn't an all-American joke, but have you guys should watch. Sons of Anarchy was a really good show. Oh, yeah. I mean, I do like All-American. I know you haven't watched it, but Sons of Anarchy, Miles, I think you get into that one too.
I will.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people who do one show at a time, and then I move on. So I don't have like 4 in rotation.
What are you on right now?
Pam and Tommy.
How many episodes is that?
7 or 8.
Okay.
I'm on episode 5 now.
How long you been watching? A couple weeks?
Probably 2 weeks. I mean, it's close to an hour. So it's one of those where like you watch it and you're like, all right, I'm going to bed.
I don't think he does the same thing. Like Thrill and I will come in. Mike does sometimes, not as much. Sometimes Thrill and I come in and be like, I am so tired.
I know.
Inevitably, somebody go, did you guys, like, one of you guys go out last night? Like, no, I was up till 2. I got sucked into some series.
I just had to see the next episode. I didn't know that it would keep happening.
Yeah, exactly.
I love sleep.
So I do too.
I do too. I do too. But there's 2 things that keep me up on a weeknight. Either I've been out doing something, or I'm just into a series that I really like, and it's like, screw. I mean, you're like a junkie. Like, let me get in one more episode. And look, at home,
it depends on the time. If it was 20 minutes, I would dive back in.
Sure.
If I'm watching Cobra Kai, then I'd watch 3 instead of 1 episode.
Correct. Yeah. Like Drive to Survive returns on Friday on Netflix, the F1 show. Okay. Like I'll burn through a few of those on Sunday, just kind of chill it out. Let's see. So Saved by the Bell, super popular show. Well, Mark Paul Gosselaar, who played Zach, he has a podcast called Zach to the Future.
Zach to the Future?
Zach to the Future.
All right.
Mm-hmm. He was already kind of living futuristically. Beverly Hills 90210. Jenny Garth and Tori Spelling. They were Kelly and Donna. They have a podcast as well. 90210MG.
All right.
It sounds like a weird prescription.
You would also have to know the episode they're breaking down.
If you watch that show, I guarantee they do.
Yeah. I'd be thinking to myself, do I know this?
Like, it's one of those shows that my wife used to watch all the time, and I guarantee if she listened to that podcast, she would know exactly the episode they're talking about. Hell, we were watching the show last night, and I've seen this actor before. He's a grown-ass man, all right? And he plays like an FBI guy or something like this, and she goes, oh, that's whatever his name is. He'll always be, who was the chick with the glasses? The kind of nerdy chick on 90210? Andrea. So my wife says, he'll always be Andrea's husband to me. I'm like, who are you talking about? She's like, he's the guy that married Andrea on 90210. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. But I mean, like, it is still burned in her head.
Yeah, it's like King of Queens, right? Leah Remini. Mm-hmm. Right, most people know her from that or the Scientology stuff.
Right.
But she was also like Saved by the Bell. Then there was like a later year where they were working at a beach club, and she was like the owner's daughter.
I would have never known that she was, teen actor, I guess? Late teens kind of thing?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, some of these, like Saved by the Bell, I don't think any of them were actually teenagers.
Right.
It's like the show that I watched like last year, Outer Banks, same thing. Like, none of them are teenage. I mean, look, even Cobra Kai. Like,
they ain't teenagers.
No, they're all in their early 20s.
They have some loose rules at the schools of Cobra Kai.
They
no more gang kung fu fights in the cafeteria. Like, oh, our bad.
Yeah, and they are always around on like group. Like I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, you know, like my mom wasn't too strict. Like I could go out and do stuff, but I don't know. I feel like those kids get in a lot of fights and are always running around with the same crew.
If I got in a fight every time I went out, and in that fight, it's not like I just got in a fight and we threw punches. Like I picked a dude up and slammed him over a metal railing, and then kicked him down the stairs, and then punted him through a window. My parents would have been really, really upset. But I feel like those kids, it's more like, hey, you know, fighting's not good. Like, dude, they're not fighting. Fighting is a real ugly, just throwing haymakers until somebody bleeds, right? These guys are killing each other, man.
Yeah, and I never did martial arts in high school, but, like, is that normal? Does the whole dojo go out? Like, Miles, I'm sure in high school you went out with buddies for the football team.
But not the entire team.
Like, I don't think your whole offense, like, not all 11 of you went out every time.
It was pretty well everybody in the whole school just got together because it was such a small town.
All right.
So other schools, it wasn't really, didn't matter. You could be on the girls' basketball team and everybody showed up because it was the only thing to do.
Did you guys ever kung fu fight?
Never did that.
See, you're not
I mean, and there were guys that did do that. We just knew enough because we grew up with Karate Kid not to mess with them.
Yeah, of course.
Because that's all we knew was like, okay, well, this kid doesn't look like much, but he's like a brown belt, so.
Right.
Let's see. Scrubs. They have podcast Fake Doctors, Real Friends. That's Zach Braff and Donald Faison. But they were actually buddies in real life. So that's why they're Fake Doctors, Real Friends. Gossip Girl. The girl that played Vanessa, she's got one. Friday Night Lights, obviously, theirs is called Clear Eyes, Full Hearts, Can't Lose.
Oh, wow.
I love that quote. It's a great quote. But theirs is called Clear Eyes, Full Hearts. Let's see. The OC. Welcome to the OC, bitch. That's the name of theirs. That's Rachel Bison.
I never saw that show, but I know that line.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I will admit, I was right, because that was early 2000s. So me and DB were fired up for that one.
All right, okay.
And then we would always laugh how, like, Ocean City, when you grew up in Maryland, we would call that OC, not the OC. But, like, Orange County, growing up where I grew, was just like a fantasy world.
It's a legendary place.
Yeah. Correct. So we were like, oh, the OC. It's like, why don't they get in a fist fight on the boardwalk?
Eat some French fries.
Yeah. That's where one of my buddies got hit with a bat. One Tree Hill. There's called Drama Queens. The people that played Peyton, Brooke, and Haley, they're on there. The Office, like this one. Office Ladies. Jenna Fisher and Angela Kinsley. So Pam and Angela.
Okay.
Right, so that seems good. Supernatural. I never watched that show. That's Rob Benedict. Basically the guy that played Chuck and Gabriel. And then New Girl. Welcome to our show. Zoe Deschanel, Hannah Simone, and Lamone Morris.
They should have just called her Old Girl. I mean, it just hasn't been on in a while, that's all.
I got into an argument on the podcast, which is a brand new episode out right now. It was an emergency podcast, mostly Hawks talk. Same with the MegaCast. True or false, in your mind, does Zoe Deschanel and Katy Perry, do they look sort of alike?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the same kind of
Thank you.
Yeah.
God damn.
Totally. Especially when Katy Perry wears glasses.
Right, and they both had bangs.
Yeah.
And
they kind of just,
that's
they look the same.
That's not a weird statement.
Right, I think so either. The guys on my podcast, look, I don't see it. I'm like, pull up 2 pictures of them.
Right.
Like, there's 2 noticeable differences.
You need glasses.
But other than that, they look...
Yes, there are 2 noticeable differences.
They kind of look the same.
Hey, are you... Katie, my bad.
Yeah, right. Throw good news for you. Get home tonight, put on Fox. 7th season premiere, Masked Singer.
Oh, God.
It's back, baby.
I hate that show.
Thank you, Ted. We appreciate it. You are listening to The Men's Room.
Oh, drat. I was driving along minding my own business when that vulgar leech hit my Beamer with his pickup truck. I fear I've fractured my clavicle.
I say, old boy, don't simply put it in the hands of your insurance company to sort it out. Talk with the dedicated road solicitors at the Advocates Law Firm.
Pipe down, you old sod. The Advocates will see your case through to the bitter end and won't sleep a fortnight until they have victory in their grasp.
Jolly good, old man. Jolly good indeed. You get injured, the Advocates get results. AdvocatesLaw.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. Florida woman huffs multiple cans of deodorant spray and ends up with a DUI. Meanwhile, a Walmart employee steals $800 from a woman's purse, but forgets all the cameras in the sky. Florida man in full Boy Scout uniform earns his DUI merit badge at last. Please don't ever hike here again. It's what the Arizona Department of Safety kindly asked. And a Buffalo man who has stolen 8 cars this year is finally in jail. It is time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's Mike Hawk.
All right, top story. We go to Florida where a woman was arrested for DUI. Officers pulled her over one night and noticed the strong smell of deodorant coming from the car. When they got to the window, they noticed that the driver looked impaired and found several cans of said deodorant spray all about the vehicle. Turns out she was huffing the spray after having consumed some alcoholic beverages earlier that night. So there you
Did not know that was a thing.
Neither did I. That
But you smell great.
Right.
Did they say what kind of deodorant it was?
Maybe Axe. There's got
That's always my first guess, but I don't know.
I know that there's other spray deodorants out there. I just know that that's the one that tends to sing louder than the other.
Yes, for sure.
But I guess you could huff almost anything that comes in an aerosol can, right?
Right. So, thinking on it.
Thanks for sharing that, Ted.
Well, no, you said sure so quick. I was like, keep it huffing, dude.
In other news, a man from New York is in the headlines of Arizona after he needed some help on a hike. At 7 at night, local authorities received a call for assistance on a local hike after the New York man had gotten lost in the winter conditions on the hike. They were able to track him down and get him back to safety, but were a little less happy to see him after they got the call less than 24 hours later, as he had injured himself attempting the same hike. The story says that they provided him with some safety reading material about the hikes in the area in order to curb his use of rescue resources.
First of all, it was 11-mile hike. In and out. All right.
Good God, that's a long
He
one.
started the hike at 2:30 in the afternoon on the first day.
Right. And it's cold down there right now.
So this guy has no idea what the hell he's doing.
Not a clue. I took an Uber ride from Phoenix to Scottsdale when I was down there, and the guy talked about how the rescue crews are out there constantly.
Oh, really?
Because there's people that are on vacation down there, and they know what kind of hikes that you got down there. They're probably beautiful, but people mistake the comfortable conditions that they're feeling down there, and then they don't take water up there with them.
Right.
Like stuff as stupid as that. It's like you're in the middle of the desert, first off, man.
I have learned from having people visit from the East Coast, too. When they talk about going on hikes, they're talking about just going on really long nature walks.
Right.
They're not used to the altitude and
mountain.
Like an actual hike.
Correct. And then also you find out when you move to an area like Seattle, like, people hike for real.
Right.
So, like, even, like, I kind of make the joke, like, everybody lives around here, like, you got to do Psy. But, like, it ain't like it's the easiest thing in the world.
No.
I mean, it's not the hardest, but it's like,
That's a hike.
Kick your butt.
I always say Rattlesnake is like the Disneyland of hikes. And I've had family members come out here that, like, I didn't think they were going to make it.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. I was up at the top chilling, smoking a bowl.
Attaboy. Yeah. An 18-year-old in Buffalo has been put behind bars for vehicle theft. The man had previously posted bail, but it was revoked by the judge after it was brought to their attention that this was their 8th offense in 2 months.
Jesus.
The local district attorney's office requested that he be held without bail, as he was already accused of committing crimes following his arraignment on multiple pending cases. Oy. A Florida Boy Scout leader should be prepared to spend some time behind bars after he was found by officers. See what I did there, Miles? Police got a call about a suspicious vehicle and arrived to find our man sitting behind the wheel, visibly impaired and surrounded by multiple open alcohol containers. He told officers that he wanted to go for a drive after dealing with some marital difficulties and had taken off, still in his Boy Scout uniform. Doesn't quite detail why. I'm guessing he came back from a meeting. I'm hoping he did.
I think it would be very difficult to be in an argument with your significant other in your Boy Scout uniform.
Right.
It's
courteous, kind, helpful,
Exactly.
thrifty, brave.
It's kind of like a constant reminder to be on your best behavior.
It is. When you have that on.
Failed field sobriety test and a breathalyzer showing him at more than 3 times the legal limit were enough for officers to bring him in.
Yeah, that's enough.
This guy was at least a .24. I want you to think about that for half a second. At least a .24.
The whole thing is strange.
It is.
Yeah.
Again, why are you still in the uniform, man? I mean, it's not like they weren't they were uncomfortable, but I was glad to get out of those things when I was done with meetings. A greedy Walmart employee in Pennsylvania rolled the dice and came up worse for wear. The man works as a cart pusher at his local retailer and found a wallet in one of the carts with a jackpot of $800 cash inside. He made off with the cash and went about his day, but when it was eventually discovered that he had pocketed the money from his wallet, an investigation was launched where officers found him to be in possession of controlled substances and drug paraphernalia, and he was arrested. And that is it for your headlines. With that, Mike Hawk is out.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. More Men's Room is up next with the Men's Room Happy Hour exclusively on the Odyssey app.
Yes, indeed, it's all true, but in the meantime, well, we be all about this bitch for 180 seconds or so, give or take. In the meantime, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network.
Oh, man!
A Double Flush production.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.